Hello, Drew Robinson here. I'm just going to go through and I want to go do a video along with my presentation here with the for the highest threat to the United States with asymmetrical warfare, Liberty University class here. So let me go ahead and go through it. Okay, so I chose or Russia because I believe that is the country with the highest threat to the United States, particularly when we look at involve symmetrical warfare. All right, so there is the a map of Russia. Now notice, all right, it's not necessarily of Russia, it's of Europe. Okay, but notice the arrow is going to Kaliningrad, Russia. All right. Now this is an exclave, meaning it's not connected to the main body of the Russian country. Sorry. So it is located over more into Western Europe, on the other side of Lithuania in Romania. All right. So it's not connected directly with the Russian homeland. So why is that highlighted? Well, one, because they have a significantly large Air Force base there at that location in Kaliningrad, but and it's one of their largest Air Force bases. But also the location of the base, it makes it closer to the countries in Western Europe, which the United States is part of with NATO. All right, so that's a significant area that that's a significant spot geographically. Now, why is what are some of the capabilities that Russia has that is a threat to the United States? All right, so I listed them here. Nuclear capabilities. All right, so one of the largest nuclear powers in the world. Okay, so that's when we talk about symmetrical warfare, that is getting into symmetrical warfare, being that they are nearly on par with the United States. Now, above, right, their leader, a key leader, is obviously Vladimir Putin. And so that plays in the role as well. Is some describe him as an unstable leader, an autocratic leader. Now, why do I use the term autocratic, Bill? Because recently in 2020, they amended the constitution in Russia so that he can serve until 2036. Now, he's already served two separate terms as president, but he can serve two more terms now that they amended the Constitution. Another thing is in between his times as president of the United States, he served, or not the United States, Russia, he served as prime minister. So he was essentially running the country then, even though he wasn't president. He was as prime minister. He was basically running the country at that time as well. So that's why I use the term autocratic. Okay, one of the articles that I read, it put it in my bibliography, refers to hybrid type of warfare. What is that? So coordinated combined use of different modes of warfare. Now they have previously used this in the Crimea in 2014. So not only are we talking about can they use symmetrical warfare as we think of it with troops, tanks, Air Force, but they can use other modes as well. All right, so asymmetrical. So that's what we refer to hybrid type of warfare. Now, recently they've engaged in cyber attacks as well. So that kind of goes along with hybrid style warfare, and that is an issue with Russia as well when it comes to things to meddling in the United States elections. It has a real effect on things we do here, and then also a large military. So one of the articles here with the Putin and nuclear dimension of Russian strategy, that's in the bibliography there. It talks about in 2015 with Vladimir Putin. He was in command, but they started upgrading or building a lot more um, a, a lot more military components. So 1,770 tanks, 148 missile and artillery systems. Ground forces now have 35% modern arms and equipment. Now that's in 2015. Recently, okay, obviously we all know what's been going on with with the Ukraine and Russia, but now they haven't been overwhelming the Ukraine, or it hasn't been a very quick victory. It certainly hasn't been like um, Nazi Germany and France there in 19 spring of 1940. But what that does provide is military experience for the troops. All right, so that plays a role as well. Now they have significant experience. All right, so what are some of the effects it could have as well, as far as psychological, economic effects? Is so destabilizing Europe. Well, that's going to bring in an economic component that's going to hurt the United States, but also, as I put there, the United States imports a lot of oil from Russia. Right, so we've already seen things with the stock market, how it's had an impact there, what Russia's been doing. But hey, if they were to fight the United States, all right, they could put sanctions. I mean, obviously the United States could do the same thing to them, but there's going to cause some friction and problems there. Uh, the Russians, I'm going again. They can interfere in U.S. elections or get the people they want to be favored, get them elected. Okay, and then the last one is a resentment towards individuals of ethnicity, and that has to do with the social effect. But I also want to point out that with the coronavirus, all right, there's been a backlash towards people of from the Far East. Okay, so we're talking about Chinese people. This could happen more with the Russians as well. And we're already looking at professional Russian athletes, particularly if you look at things that are going on with hockey players. All right, there's been a backlash towards some of them because of what's going on in Ukraine, and this would happen if the United States and Russia were to engage even further, if the friction were to be there even further.